Hey everyone, today I am going to be showing you an extremely easy exercise that will also be extremely valuable for all of you, and it will benefit your playing in a big way. And some of those ways, some of them might be unforeseen, but I would say the primary ways in which it will help your playing is situational awareness up and down the neck. So helping you get more familiar with some valuable shapes that will help you move up and down the neck in a really meaningful way. It will improve your touch and your feel, and that's a common theme with a lot of the exercises that I like and everyone uses before they jump into their the songs and solos they want to learn, for example, just to make sure you're in a good place with your fretting hand, your picking hand. So it doesn't have to be this exact exercise, but even a simple alternate picking exercise will get you in a more balanced place, so you're not choking the neck, you're not being too aggressive with your picking hand, things like that. So this will of course reinforce that, and I think it really benefits your soloing because of that situational awareness. So kind of the first thing I was talking about, they do go hand in hand, but it might not seem like that, right? You might be playing through this exercise going like, well, how the heck is this gonna improve my soloing? This seems too simple, it seems too basic. You're not making that jump to how that situational awareness can really benefit your solos. And so I'll jump into that and give you some examples as we're going through the exercise. So let's just start with the freaking exercise, all right? I want to make this as brief as possible. Make sure I don't burn your ears with the volume on this. So this, the base of this exercise is the G major scale. You can move this. The beauty of the guitar is that, the shapes we use in one area or one key will be the same shape in another key. You just have to move it appropriately. Okay, so you can move this depending on how you want to mess with this exercise. I like to say, use something like this at least for a week, right? Do it for 5 minutes before you start playing the songs and solos you want to learn for a week. You'll see the benefits. And if you want to stay fresh and add some variety, just change the key each time you approach the exercise. All right, so this is going to be G major, or I'll show it to you in G major. So we've got 7 notes in the major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're back at that first note. We're back at the root note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. All right, so we're going to play it up and down the neck, and the high E string is going to be our guide bringing us up and down the neck. And the next wrinkle is that we're going to play triads that correlate with that movement of the scale. And they're only going to be G major and A minor triads. All right, so if you move this up to the key of C, it will just be C major and D minor triads. Now there is one exception. When we get up here, we will have the F sharp diminished. That's the 7th note in the scale. So that is the one exception, but it's a very simple shape. I will have all of the shapes flashed with tabs as I go through it right now. So again, let's play through all of these chords. We go up, we go back to the, we go all the way up to the root, the octave, and then we come back down. That's it. So for 5 minutes, go up, come down, go up, come down. And I'll show you what you can do and how you can kind of conceptualize this so that it doesn't just feel like you're kind of doing this boring thing. You're actually taking note of what to be aware of so that it can really, really benefit your playing. All right, so we start down here. G major, and you can even say it out loud as you're moving through it. G major, A minor, G major, A minor, G major, A minor, F sharp diminished, G major. All right. Now, when you are practicing this, right, you're not going to be talking to someone. So even as I'm playing through, I'm like, oh, I can get a little cleaner with this, right? Some of, as you get up higher on the neck, it gets a little more fragile. If your ring finger, moves just a little bit, you're gonna be out of tune, or it's gonna sound like you're out of tune. Something's going on because maybe your ring finger moves and pushes the string up a little bit, and all of a sudden, it doesn't sound quite right. You want it to be really clean, so just be aware of that, and take your time as you're going through it. So as you work back down, let's just, I would always recommend using a metronome. My cell phone isn't on me, that's where I usually just have like a little easy metronome app. As you're working down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So obviously the first thing that's most important is really dialing in your touch and your feel. Making sure they all sound crisp, clear, clean, and that's really like, the ideal. We always want everything to sound as crisp and as clean as possible. That's rarely the case. Even with the best players on earth, they're going for that concept of perfection, but even they would tell you, I'm not quite there, I missed this a little bit, whether or not we can hear it. So just making sure, you're putting the side of your hand when you need to mute the strings as you're moving from shape to shape, things like that. Just be aware, right amount of pressure with your picking hand, with your fretting hand. All right, so that's the first thing to be aware of. Now, like I said, the way it's going to help you navigate the neck is recognizing kind of the larger shapes around these small triads, right? 3-note chords. Okay, so if you look at bar chords, well, that's just the top 3 strings, right? There's the A minor. And similarly, you wouldn't play this as a bar chord, right? But that's the C shape. It's just moved up, and now, oh shoot, look at that. You can navigate the neck and recognize that it can give you a bit of an anchor point for a solo if you want to start down here. And then you can get into you can navigate the neck because you have these anchor points. And this isn't really necessary for this drill, but as you get more familiar with the major shapes, the pentatonic shapes, whatever, you'll see that each one of these chords fits into those shapes. And now again, like I said, you don't have to know the entire shape off the top of your head. You can have these as reminders, especially as you get better and better. For those of you who are deeper in the intermediate game, the advanced game, you might already have those kind of down pat, but if you're still learning them, these can be great cues. Can be the other word, not just anchor points, to be familiar with those shapes. Now, you can also fiddle with these shapes, and if somebody's playing power chords, or you're just accompanying a bass player or something, or even big bar chords can have that kind of bassy feel to it. You now have some chords you've got some simple brighter chords that you can layer and create some really nice balance in those situations where you're playing with a band, you're jamming, things like that. All right, you're accompanying a singer, and you don't want too much, junk permeating, that person's voice and messing with it and making it too muddy, right? So that you can allow them to be clear and you can be this great team player. And like I showed you, it gives you this great base of support. So let's say you did want to play this in the key of C, you would just use the C major and the D minor shapes. And now you can have, again, anchor points if you're playing in C. Whatever, you can noodle on it because you've got these shapes under your fingers. right? So that would be messing around with it in the key of C, but you want to get it down in one key, make sure you're familiar with the shapes and fingerings and everything before you start moving it around. But it is a great way to just familiarize yourself with the neck, and because there's this overlap with some really simple shapes, so that G major shape, that's what I would call the buddy guy box, or buddy guy little house shape, right? Hendrix messes around with things like that, and it just gives you this great opportunity to you don't want to move through it that fast, but it gives you an opportunity to be a little more fluid with your playing. So why don't I just leave it there, all right, before I get too into the weeds with how it can benefit you. But if you're, unsure of, exactly how it's going to improve your playing today, just stick with it. If you're not sure of the shapes, just play through them, right? G, say it out loud as you're listening to the metronome. A minor. G, right? Feel your hands, come back to that. Being really present is important before you start getting, unconscious and into that place where the solo is just coming out of me or the riff is just coming out of me, right? Get really aware, get really present, and I think you'll be a better guitar player for it. And yeah, I hope this one helps you all out. If it does, of course, like and subscribe. That's super helpful. And we'll get some more crap going in a day or two or throughout the week and all that stuff. So happy playing to you all. I'll see you out there.